What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be featuring Vaylantz along with their new card that they'll be getting in Darkwing Blast, which I'll read over momentarily. But before I begin, if you happen to enjoy content like this, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons would be greatly appreciated, as it goes a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. I would also like to mention that if you haven't checked out my previous Vaylantz video and you're looking to learn at what the deck does, I'll leave a link below in the description to that video, because a lot of the combos will still apply, as well as a lot of the things that you need to know. But this video will provide kind of an upgrade to those lines, as well as something that you can build upon with the release of this new card. So the very first thing that I want to show is that Priestess now is kind of a one-card combo. I don't want to call it too much of a one-card combo because you still do have to temper your expectations, but as you'll see, I'm going to activate it here, and I'm going to use its effect, which will allow me to special summon it, and then I can use its effect again, which will search the Vaylantz Awakening. And it reads, place one Vaylantz Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone. If a card is in a field zone, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Vaylantz monster in your main monster zone. Move that monster you control to an adjacent monster zone. You can only use each effect of Awakening once per turn. So the big thing that you can see here is that it's basically another Vaylantz skill, which is why I was still leading you to my previous video if you want to learn the deck. But as you see now, I'm going to activate it, which will get me the Baron, and then I can use the Baron's effect here, which will special summon it, and then I can use the Baron on field to move the Priestess. The Priestess can then get its effect, which will add me the Viscount. And from there I can link away into Beyond the Pendulum, and I can use Beyond the Pendulum to add the Kendo Spirit, which will then place on a scale and do the same with Viscount. And now we can Pendulum summon for 2 here. And what I'm going to do next, you have a lot of options here. For example, you can go directly into Appaloosa and keep the scale for follow-up along with your 9 here. If these 4 cards really are nothing, you can also special summon the Viscount and then go into Skull Dread if you want to fix your hand, if you want to play that route. But understand that you've already gone through your Pendulum summon Beyond the Pendulum, and this deck doesn't quite have the gas to continue beyond a Skull Dread after all of this, especially without as many strong link monsters to end on turn 1. So now I'm going to use the Viscount here, and you'll see a 4 material Appaloosa with the 5 cards in hand, which will wrap up the first combo that you can do with just Priestess alone. So now for the second combo, and I warn, all of them will have Priestess. Priestess is the main card of the deck, and I will also obviously be featuring Awakening in every combo as well. So to start the second combo, I'm going to activate the Awakening here, which will then get me the Baron on the scale, which I can use its effect and special summon it. Then I can activate the Priestess onto its scale and activate its effect, which will allow me to special summon it. Then I can use the effect of Priestess to add the Vaylantz VAR, and now I can use the Baron to move the Priestess. The Priestess will get its effect to add, which I'll add the Viscount, and then you'll see I'm going to use the VAR, which will get me the field spell here. I get the Shinra Bansho, and from there we're going to link into Beyond the Pendulum. And from here we grab the Kendo. Much like our previous combo, we're going to scale the Viscount and the Kendo in order to Pendulum summon here. But because we can extend beyond what we had just with Priestess, we're going to go into our Appaloosa directly, and now we're going to use the Viscount's effect, and we'll now activate the field spell, which will get a field spell to our opponent's field, and now we can use the effect of Awakening in the Graveyard to move our Viscount, which will trigger our Viscount effect, placing a Priestess onto field, which now we can use the field spell effect in order to get the second body on board, and now we can link away into Pit Knight, which feels like the only sensible thing you can go into. I mean, there is Masquerena, but it's not a disruption on its own, but it's up to you, and it also obviously depends on what else is in your hand. So now for the final combo, and I think this is definitely the coolest one because it allows the deck to take a line that was much more difficult to achieve before activation came out. So I'm going to start here by activating the Priestess, then I'm going to use its effect, special summoning itself. From there, I can use its effect, which will grab me a VAR, and now I can activate the Baron, use the Baron to special summon itself, then use the Baron on the field to move the Priestess here, which will get me an add. And as you'll see, I'm going to get the Hojo, which wasn't in my last deck profile. And you'll see that I'm going to go into Beyond the Pendulum now. It's pretty much the same thing as the previous combo, sort of, because the Hojo is scale 1. But you'll see that we're going to activate both scales here and then Pendulum Summon. And now we can return the Spirit because of its effect. And we'll go into our Appaloosa before continuing with our plays, which is a cool thing about this combo, as well as we activate the field spell. And from here we're going to use the field spell, which will bring out our Hojo. And now we can use the effect of VAR here to place the Viscount. Viscount will special summon itself. And from there we can use the Viscount's effect in order to place the Priestess onto the field, which then we can use the Hojo to bounce back the Priestess, then normal summon the Priestess, use the effect of Awakening in Graveyard, moving the Hojo, and because we have 3 Vaylantz, now we can fuse away into the Momonaka, which ends us with the Momonaka and the Appaloosa off those cards, while still having more cards in hand to play with. Now, onto the deck profile, and you'll see that the biggest changes have actually come within the generic cards, as I was playing a bunch of hand traps and cross out before. But because of the release of Darkwing Blast, we have cards like Fenrir and Magnamut, which are both board breakers, and while I don't want to call Fenrir a hand trap because it's not, it's just something that you can bring out for free, get another copy of itself, and it's a disruption. While Imperm is also a card that can serve multiple roles, and Lava Golem just being a good board breaker overall. For the changes in the extra deck, because I'm playing the Bestial stuff, along with having 2 6s with the Vaylantz monsters, those were some of my factors going into the side deck or extra deck, because as you see I have Volo, a lot of Link monsters here. Awakening makes summoning this guy easier. And another thing I would like to point out is that you could actually play around with Vaylantz, because there may be some hands where you want to make Masquerena, but the zone is clogged up by Beyond the Pendulum, and if you have enough gas to do it, you can use the effect of Vaylantz and get your zones the way you want them to, but I can't guarantee anything about the viability of that. So onto the card by card, we have the 1 Marquise, the 3 Viscounts, the 3 Priestess, the 3 Baron, the 1 VAR, the 1 Shinra Bansho, the 2 Wizen, the 3 Abyss Curtain, the 3 Curtain Raiser, the 1 Kendo Spirit, the 1 Nazuki, the 1 Hojo, the 1 Senate Switch, the 3 Prosperity, the 3 Awakening, the 3 Fenrir, the 1 Called by the Grave, 3 Lava Golems, 3 Imperms, 2 Magnamuts, and the Druid Worm to round out the main deck. For the extra deck, we have the 1 Momonaka, the 1 Zeus, the Volo, the Abyss Dweller, Berguska, Sky Cavalry, the Underworld Goddess, Appaloosa, Access Code, Unicorn, Selene, Beyond the Pendulum area, which could also be Hida, but it's area right now because of Lulucaros, the Masquerena, and the Pit Knight to round out the extra deck. It may be wise to play even more board breakers, as the deck does need high impact cards in order to keep up currently. And I would also like to note that because of the reboot ban, these cards kind of do hurt a little bit more now. I've also seen a lot of builds with Small World, which is an option as well, so I wanted to put that in here. But anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed. It's Bones, signing out.